Good day, dear friends. Welcome to another interesting episode of equipping the next generation for impact and excellence on your favorite online radio, Hammergate Radio Communications. I'm your host, Adeola Gbadibo, and I'm always very excited to have you join me for this series, and especially to treat to welcome you to part two of financial discipline, building a foundation for wealth. Last week we treated the first part where we defined financial discipline, and we said financial discipline is key to lasting financial freedom, and that it is what separates the wealthy from those who continue to struggle with money. We talked about the importance of discipline in our finances and how it prevents us from being reckless in our spending, how it fosters long-term wealth building and financial independence, and so on. And then we spoke about a lot of good financial practices that we should engage in. Creating a budget, living within your means. Sticking to your budget, setting financial goals, and tracking your progress. Saving at least about 20% of your earnings, invest in assets, avoid unnecessary debts, and many more. I believe we gave close to 15 financial practices, good practices that we should imbibe. And we also spoke about some of the bad practices that we should avoid: spending more than you earn, not having a budget or financial plan, taking unnecessary and excessive loans. And I told you what when you take up loans, that it gets to a level where it can be overwhelming, stressful, and can lead into a state of depression, where your phones keep ringing by your creditors and you do not know what to do. You can't explain. You don't even understand what you're going to tell them. Avoid impulse buying and things like that. And I remember talking about engaging in high risk investment without proper knowledge, and I gave the analogy of the forex market, where people just go into a market without knowledge. They don't ask questions, they don't do anything, they don't learn. But because they think it's a get rich quick scheme, they just want to throw in their money, and eventually you find them losing all that money because they did not stay to learn. They did not get a mentor who could take them through, and they do not have the time to wait. They don't have the patience, rather, to wait. I did speak about, especially this generation, that is an instant generation, instant gratification, instant noodles, instant whole milk, everything instant. They want the money instantly. They have no patience to wait and grow their wealth. Today we'll be going into the second part of financial discipline, building a foundation for wealth, and we'll be diving straight into it, to say, whether you are rich or poor or somewhere in between. It's your mindset and habits around money that determine your financial future. Yes, whether you're poor, you're rich, or you're just comfortable somewhere in between, it is your financial, your mindset and the habits around money that determines your financial future. So There are different mindsets for the rich. There are different ones for poor people also. So I want to quickly go into the rich man's mentality versus the poor man's mentality. Um, what rich people do with their money versus what poor people do with their money. Because the way the rich people and poor people think about money is often worlds apart. So I'll break it down for you. Let's give some examples. For example, now rich people focus on long-term wealth building. Poor people focus on short-term gratification. Rich people will invest their money to make more money, because we see that. But the poor people spend all their money as soon as they get it. They have no investment plan, they have no savings plan. The rich man lives below his means so he can save and invest. For the poor man, he lives above his means, is often in debt. He lives above his means in order to show off. To show off. A rich man sees money as a tool for growth. A poor man sees money as a resource to be spent. A rich man sees money as a tool for growth. A poor man sees money as a resource to be spent. So rich people prioritize assets. They invest in things that grow in value. Meanwhile, poor people prioritize liabilities, the things that depreciate in value. Rich people continuously educate themselves about finances. The poor man lacks any financial, education, no financial literacy, and they're not interested in improving their knowledge about money. Rich men take calculated risks to grow wealth. The poor man avoids risk, even if it means he will miss opportunities. They will avoid the risk. Let me tell you so rich people invest in stocks, they invest in real estate, they invest in businesses. Poor people spend on luxury items they cannot afford. They spend on luxury items they cannot afford. For example, most people who carry the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max, or the latest Samsung phone, very expensive phones that are over ₦1 million, many of them cannot afford it. Many of them, the money, they are not on that level yet. The money they were supposed to, how can you have 1.2 million and you buy a phone of 1.2 million? No other investments and all that. However, rich people, they take out of the profits or the proceeds of their investments, profits they make from those investments, is what they use that helps them to afford such luxuries. They don't take their capital money, their capital to fund luxuries in order just to impress people. It's a poor man that takes his seed capital and spends on luxuries, on things that will not generate more funds for him. A rich man saves a portion of his income consistently. They have a consistent habit of savings. But the poor man spends his entire paycheck immediately. When they get their money on Friday, it's thank God it's Friday. They go to the bar, they go to the club, spend the whole money, spend 1.5 of it, and then sometimes sometimes they come back being in debt from the club. They spend all the money without any plan. So the rich man budgets to track and control expenses. The poor man does not even have a budget. He just budgets and overspend. The rich man diversifies his income stream. They have a main job, they do side hustles, they have what we call passive income. Money that is generated for them, even when they're not working, that they don't need to work, but that money keeps coming in. It's passive income. However, most poor people rely only on one source of income, while the rich delays gratification to achieve bigger goals. And like I said earlier, poor people seek instant gratification. E.g., they want to buy on impulse. They see something, they have some money that can buy it, they just buy up. No plans for it. No plans, and that's why some poor people go to the market with a list and comes back with not buying anything on that list, but they spend the whole money buying other things that they didn't plan for. I want to take a few examples of people that we may know that are rich today, who actually weren't born rich, and who through their financial discipline and the financial habits have been able to, grow their wealth and become very wealthy. Let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty, but Oprah focused on education, hard work, and smart financial decisions. She invested in her brand, diversified her income, and became a billionaire. So this is a woman who, struggled all through her early life. And when she got into broadcasting, she looked at it, she found her fit there. She found that it was a place where she could and began to invest and learn more, invested so much in herself that by the time she started her show and started her own and had her own studio and all that, she kept investing in the brand, and the more she invested in the brand, the more valuable the brand became, and she became one of the best brands when you're talking about a female and a black person. Oprah Winfrey. There was also Howard Schultz, the former Starbucks CEO. Starbucks they sell coffee. He grew up in a low-income housing complex. He practiced financial discipline, invested in his vision, and turned Starbucks into a global empire. Doing what? Selling coffee. Coffee. Simple coffee. That's Chris Gardner. The inspiration behind the Pursuit of Happiness movie and book. Gardner went from being homeless to building multi-billion-dollar brokerage firm through relentless financial discipline and perseverance. We all have opportunities to grow. We all have opportunities that will come our way, or that has come our way, that is the opportunity for us to turn our lives around. Those opportunities always come. Those times always come. But when they come, would you recognize them? Have you noticed that a lot of the people who won lotteries, and won millions in lotteries. Majority of them went back, became broke again. That's the reason. Some of you think, oh, I just need that 1 million. Oh, I just need that 5 million. But what you are doing with your 500,000 already shows that if you get the 5 million, you are just going to, do those bad habits on a higher scale. It's just more money. What it will do is that it's just more money for you to spend instead of investing. Many of us have had opportunities where real money came to our hands, but we blew it. Some people have been able to discipline themselves and grow their wealth systematically, strategically, and they've become billionaires today. It is the habits, our habits or our mindsets around money that determines our financial future. I want to create a few scenarios and ask us a few questions. You can always send us your feedback to us on email at the email is contact at theamogate.org. Contact at theamogate.org. You can also send us those feedbacks, your answers on WhatsApp, on our WhatsApp line, +234 810 999 6666. I'll take that again. +234 810 999 6666. You can send us the answers either through the email or through our WhatsApp number. So let's look at this. I call this the windfall. You unexpectedly received $5,000 from an uncle as a part of his will. You receive $5,000. What are you going to do with it? So option A is, are you going to spend it on luxury vacation and a new wardrobe? Buy new clothes, buy shoes, buy wristwatches, buy jewelries. Option B, are you going to pay off your debt, save half, and invest the rest? Option C says maybe you donate it all to charity. I'll take the question again. You unexpectedly received $5,000 from a late uncle's will. His part of his will said they should give you $5,000. Now you've got the dollars. What are you going to do with it? You have the dollars. Are you going to spend it on a luxury vacation, on new wardrobes, buying clothes, new shoes, new jewelries, wristwatches, and perfumes? Or are you going to pay off your debt, save half of it, and invest the rest? Or you're just going to donate all to charity? Let's take a second scenario. So you are offered a job with a higher salary, but that job requires you relocating to a new location, which is more expensive. It's a more expensive city. What do you do? Option A, are you going to take the job and upgrade your lifestyle to match the new income and to also match the living standard of the new city? or option B, where you take the job but maintain your current lifestyle to save the difference. Option C, you decline the job and stay where you are. Which one would you? You got a job with a more with a higher salary, far higher salary, and it's in a more expensive city and it requires that you relocate to that new city. What will you do? Are you going to take the job, upgrade your lifestyle to match the new environment and the new income, or will you take the job, maintain your lifestyle, that's meaning maintain your current lifestyle, and C, maybe you decline the job and stay where you are? Good. Let's take the third and final scenario. It's an investment opportunity. So a friend offers you a chance to invest $5,000 in a startup with high potential but no guaranteed returns. What do you do? I take it again. A friend invites you, give a chance to invest $5,000 in a startup with high potential but no guaranteed returns. What will you do? Option A says invest the money and hope for the best. Option B says research the startup, assess the risks, and invest if only it aligns with your goals. Option C says avoid the risk and keep the money in your savings account. What will you do? You have an offer to invest $5,000 in a startup with high potential but no guaranteed returns. Are you going to invest the money and hope for the best? Are you going to research the startup, assess the risks, and invest if it aligns with your goals? C says avoid the risk and keep the money in your bank account. Which will have been the best decision? We're expecting you to send it to us on our email, contact@theamogate.org. Just send ABC. There are just 3 questions. You can also send to us on our WhatsApp line, +234 810 999 6666. That's our WhatsApp line. And these are my final thoughts. Financial discipline is not about how much money you have. It's about what you do with it. The rich mindset focuses on growth, education, and long-term planning, while the poor mindset often gets trapped in short-term thinking and overspending. The good news is you can adopt the rich mentality at any time you want. Start by budgeting, saving, investing, and making informed decisions. Remember, wealth isn't built overnight, but with consistent effort and discipline, you can create a foundation of lasting financial success. Now that you've learned the importance of financial discipline, I challenge you to take your financial future seriously and start by reviewing your spending habits. With this, we've come to the end of today's episode, and finally the end of financial discipline and building the foundation for wealth. I wanted to join us next week Monday for another episode. Don't forget, this broadcast runs on Hammergate Radio Communications. The broadcast is on every Monday, 5 p.m. West African time and 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can send us your feedback and questions to contact@thehammergate.org or through our WhatsApp number plus 234 810 999 Follow us on our social media, our Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all at Hammergate. Let me leave you with this quote by Robert Kiyosaki, the one they call Rich Dad Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki. I'll leave you with that. Financial freedom is available to those who learn about it and work for it. Stay financially wise, stay disciplined, and build a foundation of financial wealth. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. See you next week.